What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ham House Sports. It's Little Matt and Big Matt, and we are here with Brendan and Matt. They work for All. All is one of the best card pricing companies. We use it all the time. But how y'all doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having us on the show.
Of course, amazing. We're doing amazing. Just got home from school, but ready to do this interview.
So thank you guys so much for reaching out. Again, as Matthew said, to those of you watching, Brendan Kirbach and Matt Levine both work with Alt. We've gotten to know Matt Levine pretty well. He's actually lives near us and has been a huge help in the hobby. So on this episode of What's Up with Ham House Sports, we wanted to add an interview to it and just talk the sports card hobby with guys who actually live it, breathe it, sleep it, eat it every day. So how are you guys feeling about the state? Let's talk about the state of the hobby. Give me a state of the hobby from two guys who live it every day.
Yeah, I actually think the hobby's fired up right now, right? Like, I think there's a lot of moving parts. I think there's cards transacting like a lot, right? So there's cards moving here, there's cards moving there. I've been really impressed with just the liquidity level and how into it people are right now. Traditionally, going back, the summer is usually a slower time in cards, right? A lot of people are at the beach, they're doing all this, the weather's nice, and cards are usually on the back burner. This summer has been a different story. I think the cards are transacting way more than they were even early 2023. So I think the hobby's fired up, and like people are excited to get mail days in, right? Like there's like that ferocity in the hobby's back, and I love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me too, we've also like reached a little bit of stability. I mean, like last year at this point, there was sort of like some skepticism in the hobby. Everyone was like not wanting to set a public comp. Everyone, it seemed like prices were dropping month after month. Now it seems like, I mean, we see prices, people will beat last comp, no problem. So it seems like, there's some stability. People are chasing cards that they want. The market's in a healthy spot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So you guys, Brendan, how long have you actually been, would you say, in the hobby?
I started in the hobby probably in like 2017-ish, so
Okay.
5 or 6 years. But I've been with Alt for almost like a year and a half now. So
Okay.
sort of was doing my own thing the first 3 years, and then now full time with Alt.
And Matt, you came out of the womb in the hobby, right?
Yeah, I guess so. We don't need to talk about how old I am, but why don't you tell them what the first card you bought in the hobby was?
So the first card I ever bought was a Russell Wilson National Treasures Black out of 25, and it had the Seahawks patch on it with the eye, and it was probably one of my favorite cards ever. And to this day, I'm still chasing it. Like, I sold it. I've tried to find the guy who has it. So if anyone is out there watching this and you have this card, I'm a buyer on that card.
I love it. I love it. Of course, I'm a Russell Wilson guy because he was at NC State before he had his senior transfer moment. But loves. In fact, I was looking at a Contenders ticket auto Russell Wilson the other day.
Right.
They've just dropped like
pretty good value if you think about it. I mean,
I think that Russell Wilson is a buy right now. I mean, people think I'm crazy, but like, it's hard to have a worse season than he did last year. He gets Sean Payton back. I mean, there's a lot of weapons there.
You could pull a Drew Lock, like a 2020 Drew Lock.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, Russell's also like cemented his legacy. I mean, if he retired today, he'd be a Hall of Famer in my opinion. So, I mean, it's someone I'd take a gamble on right there.
Yeah. Well, the big thing in the hobby, like the news, right, lately is the whole situation with the NFL Players Association and Panini. And, I think it's so funny, right? When a new thing happens in the hobby, every hobby personality has to go, "Did you hear?" I'm like, "No, bro, I didn't hear." Everybody just posted about it,
Yeah.
But of course, it's kind of, we're in the hobby, so we have to talk about it. But what do you guys make of that?
I guess I'll go first on this one. I really don't like, right? So maybe I'll go on a little rant here. How every single person in the hobby seems to think they know what they're talking about on this, right? So I went on my Instagram the other night and like I saw 50 different opinions on this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And I think the reality of it is no one knows what's going to happen. And there's like a large cloud of uncertainty over the market right now on that stuff. But it hasn't impacted any of like the singles buying, right? Like the stuff that already exists, people are still into it. I haven't seen anyone like nervous about like, is this the end of the card market, which is great because if you rewinded a year ago when it was like the doom and gloom of the hobby, I think people would have been overreacting a lot more. It seems like overall positive. But I think my general thing is no one knows what the hell is going on. I don't know. We don't know. So like kind of just sit back and watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sort of just as Matt said, it's just all uncertainty at this point. Like we're waiting for new information to come out. Like I think it's naive to sort of jump to a conclusion right now. Like it's what 2 days old, 3 days old at the time we're recording this. So I mean, we really just don't know. It seems like there was like a dispute back and forth. Like who knows what's real, who knows what's fake. So like I think at this point, just wait it out, see what happens, and then we'll have some more clarity down the road.
Yeah, they might pull a Beckett and just say they're making all these BGS 10s and then just like say, oh yeah, we're not making them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, you never know. But do you think it will affect the card market like in a positive or a negative way if you had to predict?
Well, knowing like Michael Rubin and his marketing power, he's going to put sports cards in front of every single person that likes sports in the world, right? Like my grandma will know that there's sports cards available for sale by Fanatics. So like just the marketing power of Michael Rubin alone, I don't think it can hurt the popularity of the hobby in terms of like quality of card and like set production. We'll see, right? Like no one's as good. Panini's been doing this for a long time, right? So they've learned they've learned from their mistakes. They've made things better. Fanatics is brand new. And me and Brendan know working at all. When you're brand new, you're gonna make mistakes, right? So
Yes.
I think we have to give them some time to like prove themselves. But I think in the long run it'll be good. And definitely the hobby popularity will grow. But the set production and the quality, if they're making what collectors want, that's my worry out the gate.
It's sort of like a young quarterback, like take for instance Josh Allen, like he was like not that great his first 2 years. There was some kinks. He was still learning the system, but once he sort of got acclimated, he's one of the top guys now. So I mean, that's maybe not a great comparison, but there's a parallel there that like it takes time, like it's like a rookie quarterback. They can't just there's very few who just jump into the league right away and have success. So it's going to take a little bit of time to like, build yourself up, get acclimated.
It's interesting, and this Matthew won't be aware of this. He's not seen this before, but have you guys, either of you, and this is for our listeners or viewers as well, have you ever seen the documentary, The Defiant Ones? It was on Apple.
I haven't seen it, no.
All right. Next time you're traveling or you have time, do yourself a favor, right? So it's a documentary that was made, and it legacies the creation of Beats by Dre, which was a partnership between Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine was a record producer, grew up in New York. Of course, Dre was in, Compton, South LA. And it tells their story and how they came together to form Beats by Dre. And it's got interviews from everybody in the, music industry or whatever. But when you talk about Rubin, I think about Jimmy Iovine. Jimmy Iovine produced every major record deal ever, from like Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty all the way to like, what's his name? The chick that used to sing for No Doubt, Gwen Stefani. Right? Yes. So, but he did all this stuff. So when he had these headphones, like he literally went to Dr. Dre and he goes, Dre, we need to make you some sneakers. And somebody had told Dr. Dre that. And Dre's like, I don't do sneakers. I do speakers. Because he was a sound guy, right? So Jimmy Iovine brought Dre's genius in and they created Beats by Dre, but then Iovine put them on everybody's ear. And so LeBron's wearing them, World Cup's wearing them, international stuff. And so anyway, I share that to say it's a great documentary. When you get a guy like Rubin, and now you got Logan Paul buying sports cards from Shine or whatever that guy's name is, right? Like it's really interesting to see where we could be, once you introduce celebrity and hobby, and it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite stories are when I wake up and I scroll ESPN every morning on my phone, the ESPN app. Sometimes like the top story will be about sports cards. And it's like, whoa, like this is super cool. It's like mainstream. Whereas like maybe 10, 15 years ago, it was seemed as like nerdy or like, like people weren't into it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw an old newspaper article and it was like, man buys Honus Wagner card for $21,000. Is this guy crazy? And something like that. And now that card's like a $3 million card or whatever. So, and it was just crazy how much the hobby has elevated since then.
Levine, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask little Matt. So when you're in school and you start showing people your cards, right? Do they think it's really cool? Like,
Actually, today I went around and I gave away Ham House Sports stickers.
Cool.
And one of my teachers actually wants me to come look at his cards.
Super cool.
Yeah, but some kids are like, yeah, right. You went to Chicago and you met all these people and all this stuff, and you bought a Shohei autograph and all this stuff. And then some people are like, wow, that's so cool. And used to, we had to do like slideshows on stuff that we were passionate about. And I would do it about sports cards, and people would think it was the nerdiest thing. But I mean, I'm passionate about it, so I don't really care. But I am making packs of cards to give away to kids at my school. So like we put a sticker, a business card, a top loader, and we're putting some cards in there, and we're going to give them away to all the elementary school kids.
That's awesome.
And we like Mike Trout cards, Adley Rutschman, some of the biggest players, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence.
That's awesome.
We're giving away to the kids at our school.
You know, one of the reasons why Matthew, I think he saw content creators, right? And it was really that kid. What's the dude that goes from 0 to whatever?
Oh, Ryan Trahan.
Yeah. So he's watching this guy go from
like last summer. He went from a penny to like $10,000.
Yeah, and goes across the country and he just does it. So Matthew's watching this stuff. He goes, Dad, I think I want to do this with sports cards. And I'll be honest, at first I was like, okay, guy, you know, like,
you're like my friends at school.
Yeah, I was like, I had cards when I was a kid. They're not worth anything. But, you know, then when you get into it and you start to see the energy around it, and the neatest thing to me is that I've got my son. He's 13 now, and I'm 40. What am I, 41?
You don't even know your age?
41. You forget,
That's
man.
you're old.
You'll get there. So you forget, though. But then you go, man, this is something I can do with my son. And so what we've seen is so many dads and their sons like reaching out to us on Instagram and coming up to us at shows and like, hey, man, thanks so much. And we actually put something on our Instagram story the other day, and we had so many guys reach out and say, hey, my sons and I love watching your video, which is super humbling for us because, like, I mean, we've been in this for like a year.
Yeah.
And it's just like so cool. But like when you add all of these elements together, it's a really neat environment that I think is just super, super dynamic in the coming years.
I posted like if anybody wants stickers, like message us, and I'm like writing handwritten letters to every single person, put stickers in there saying thank you for watching, and I'm shipping them out myself and doing all that. So
you're gonna have to send me a sticker. I'll DM you my address after this.
Cool. I'll send you some.
Matt, I think that the kids who say it's nerdy, they're just jealous. Like I always think about like how blessed we are, like to have a hobby that we love, right? Like I think having a hobby that you love keeps you, not to get on a serious note, but like away from a lot of like bad points in life, right? You always have something to fall back on. I love it. And the sense of community. You can build friends in this that are the best friends you will ever have. And anyone who hates on you for doing this and says, oh, it's nerdy, they A, don't understand, and B, are just jealous, right? Like for their path, and you like found what makes you happy.
And then you have some people that just add like, oh, hey, do you have any cards of this player? Yeah, tons. They're like, could you give me a Jalen Hurts autograph? and I'll see what I can do. And
Matt, do people understand the prices? Like, do they?
So that's what I did today. In math class, she gave us like 10 minutes of free time, and went to all my friends and showed them the Shohei Super. I'm like, who's that? I'm like, you literally play baseball, and you don't know who Shohei Ohtani is? And they're like, $90? Probably a $2 million card. Yeah. And they're like, wow. And then I showed them the Jackson Holiday Super, and I said, yeah, this guy hasn't even played in the major leagues yet, and this card's probably a $250,000 card.
People think you're crazy when they say that like these never played in the major leagues and it's a $250,000 card.
Yes, people think I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy, but some people are like, wow, like all this stuff. And like, you own any of his cards? I'm like, only like 8 of them. But and some people think it's cool, and they're like they look at my they see my Instagram and like say it's cool and stuff. Then there's some people that are just like, oh yeah, Matt's doing all this stuff. I don't care. It's just like, I mean, that's the hobby. You always have some people that are gonna.
That's just life, bro.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah, exactly.
And like again, Matt, most of them are just jealous. That's it.
Yeah.
So talking about this, Matthew, go ahead and jump into the next topic here.
All right, this one.
Yeah, this will be fun. This will be fun, guys.
This is probably my favorite thing. But so Brendan, you're a card buyer. Matt, you're a card pricer. So y'all should know y'all's prices really well. But we're gonna test that now at Ham House Sports. All right. So you're right. We're doing the recent comps, like average last comps. We're not gonna do like one outlier comp. That's just everybody offering you 80% of that low comp. But Luca True Blue 2018 Prism. Y'all know what card I'm talking about. The card that reads super high during the peak of the hobby. True Blue Rookie Prism, number to 199, and a BGS 9.5. Card was about $30K at one point.
First.
Yes.
Can you show us the photo? What are the subs on it? Is it True Gem or anything?
Oh, we don't actually have the card. I think he pulled these out of the atmosphere.
But
I'd say on average, it's
a mixed gem. A mixed gem.
I'd say like 4.5, 5,000.
4.5, 5,000.
I said 6.
The last one did 52.02, so y'all are right in the middle.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So this is a pretty high pop card, but it comps a lot. Mahomes Prism Silver 2017 PSA 10.
$4,000.
$4,000. The last one did like 4,500, but it's really worth 4,000.
Yeah. The last sale was 38.90. So right around there. All right, now this is one.
I'm gonna tell everybody who's watching, whether they care or not, the pricing is not written on the sheet. By the way, yeah. This is this kid's brain. He's got the cards written down, no pricing. But go ahead.
All right, Jackson Holiday True Blue First Bowman Autograph PSA 10.
This is where I might be stumped. If I had to guess, I would probably say 5,000.
5,000. Great guess, B. Let's 5,100, I'll say.
5,100. The last 10 did 58.50.
But it had an auto 10 on it. And so the question is how much does that add to the value?
Because Jackson Holiday's auto.
Well, it's different. Like on Jackson Holiday, where a lot of his are not 10s, I think the 10 auto adds more than like Herbert, for instance, where every auto he signs is basically a 10.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
And the last one, this card comped 2 nights ago. 52 Mantle, PSA 1 with an auto grade of a 10.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. You're really throwing us for a loop here.
I knew this was the one I was happy about.
I'm going to guess 6 figures. So 100,000.
Okay.
135,000.
Sold for $199,000 on Heritage.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild. So that was a fun exercise. And of course,
that's crazy to me because Mantle has like a lot of autos.
He
Like,
does.
He does.
Well, how many 52s
There's
are
only
autographed?
like
I guess
13 52 Mantle autos.
Right? Like when I see a Root sign Gaudy, I get it. Like he doesn't have a lot of autos that aren't cuts. He died early.
There's only 21 Ruth out of all 4 Gaudies signed. You also see what the Jackie Robinson rookie auto just did?
All right, Matthew, you got to submit your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like that's what I'm saying. The Ruth Gaudies when they're signed, I appreciate. Mantle signed forever, right? Like he just kept signing and signing. I get it. There's not that many signed 52 copies, but like even those Mantle Griffey 93 upper deck duels, like there's a lot of them. So like just to see a regular PSA 1 is 30, the autograph to add 160 grand in value there is like quite a big jump for me. So
it is a 10 auto though, right?
It was a 10 auto, and it was actually part of a set, and they broke up. It was like in a board or something, and they broke up the whole set and they graded every single one like a few days ago, and they just put them on Heritage. But the Jackie Robinson rookie auto is an authentic card, but an auto 8 went for like 588,000, which was crazy.
Wow.
So here's something that's super interesting to me, and we'll kind of jump into the next little thing here. Is you guys share a little bit about like what I was going to say is like hobby dangers and like hobby excitement, right? Yeah. So like you're sitting here looking at Panini possibly losing contracts with NFL players, and so your Prism parallels, right? I mean, I'm sure Topps is going to come out with something, but like, will Prism parallels hold their value going forward? Like, there's just a lot of like
Topps Chrome Superfractors back.
Yeah, but then you look at like this talking about this Mantle autograph, and we know how pricey that was because he's Mickey Mantle. But you got Jackson Holiday, and there's so many Bowman parallels of these new guys. They're signing everywhere. They're signing everything. So their autographs are not rare, but it's appearing to be rare because of the parallel color and the print, numbers and serial numbers. And so I just would love to hear you guys take on like, what do y'all feel about the sustainability long-term of like autographed cards and, how the hype in the hobby and, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'll go first, I guess. For me, it's not about the autograph on the card, right? It's about what it stands for and how hard it is to acquire, right? If it was just about the autograph, I could go buy a regular Jackson Holiday autograph signed ball on eBay for $200, right? It's not about the autograph. It's more about owning a piece that will never be created again, right? So like if I buy an orange Jackson Holiday, there's 25 of them made. They'll never be produced again. I'm one of 25 who own this card. So for me, it's about understanding what the piece means and how rare it is, not about the actual autograph on the card. His autograph to me is like worthless, right? I could go to a game, have him sign an IP auto. It's not about that. It's about understanding what this stands for. And like over time, right, there's 25 copies, let's say 50 years down the road, if Jackson Holiday is one of these great players, how many make that stand the test of time, how many show up? Will I have something that's a piece of history, truly like a piece of history, like that mantle, that PSA 110, that's a piece of history. At some point it was worth nothing, right? No one understood. It's just a Mickey Mantle autograph. He was signing all of these, and now it's worth down the line so much more. So it's not, for me, I don't care if he signs a lot. I want the card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess sort of reiterating on that is like, you know, a lot of the pop count for me is one of the things I like look at when I'm looking at cards. Is like, especially right now with like a lot of the base stuff, like you see pops in like the 10,000 sometimes, you know, like I don't even know what the Lucas Silver Prism is as a pop.
I think they checked it. It's definitely in the thousands for a PSA 10. And at one point they were doing like 8K in a 10.
Right. And I mean, and you see like those have lost value just because they're not as rare. Whereas like serial numbered cards, you know, are like there's a set amount and they're only going to be this many, you know, like you own a certain percentage of it and it's not going to change.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. And pop count is definitely one of the things we always look at. Like we just bought a card on eBay and it was over the last comp, but we looked at it and it was a pop 3 in a PSA 10 and like a pop like 40 in a PSA 9 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So it was actually Jet Williams who is with the Mets. He's a first rounder and he's started to have a lot of hype lately, but his pop count is super low for whatever reason. And so there's only a pop 3. And I scooped it up, you know, but I think I bought it at like $400 on a blue PSA 10. And like literally, I think another one popped up the other day. Didn't comp for like already another 550 or
comp for 690.
690. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think Trevor Lawrence has that too. I know like his silver prisms, like the pop on the PSA 10 is incredibly
low. It's like a pop 56.
Yeah. And like the PSA 9 is probably so there's a big disparity there, you know.
Yeah. I think PSA 10 last time I checked was pop 56 and PSA 9 was like a pop 405. I don't know.
Couple things there, right? Like kind of what you guys just did, right? So you guys had to overpay last comp because it's rare, and you understand that this is my opportunity to buy it, right? And like that's the beauty of the low pop card is you control the market when you own it, right? And if someone wants your card, they have to pay whatever your asking price is. And secondly, I love that you guys are willing to go over last comp, right? It like shows a healthy market. It shows faith in the market. We were at a time 6 months ago where you guys would have told me last comp's 4,800. What should we pay? And it would have always exclusively been lower, right? We would have never went and said, all right, last one did 48. The market's kind of hot. Let's go to 51 because it's rare and because it's my only chance. So I'm so glad to hear that you guys are like going out and buying rare stuff at above comp because
that's like going like recently I used to like what you said in the beginning.
He's about to hit the preach button. I hope you guys are ready.
I always used to think like I don't want to buy cards on eBay because it sets a comp and all this stuff. But now I think we probably bought 10, 12 cards on eBay in the past week, and they've been like actually good deals. Like that Tua that we got on eBay, I think that was a pretty good deal. And we've got some good cards that have actually gemmed. Like the Waddle Cracked Ice got a 9.5. We bought that on eBay. So eBay, I think, like people are scared of setting comps. Please do not be. That's honestly one of the best ways to buy cards.
Let me ask you guys this question right now. When you're buying these cards, are you guys buying more graded cards, or are you guys buying more raw and then submitting them to grade?
So I think on eBay we've been buying a lot more raw because we grade a lot. But I think buying raw and grading has definitely been one of our biggest things.
I'll say too, it's not limited for me. Like I'm always looking at trends, right? And I'm always trying to think like something that Matt and I have talked about before is like second level thinking, right? Like you got to be thinking down the road past where everybody's thinking right now. And so, I'm making decisions right now on graded cards on eBay for whoever's going to be, doing like called up to spring training next year. So, I'm buying those guys now, and I'm willing to pay a premium in a PSA 10 because we have the buying power because we've done well, but we also have the capacity to hold. Now, I'm not a good holder, I'll be honest. Like, I like to stay super liquid with cards, and like Levine's always like,
Well, there's a balance, right? Like,
I'm going to hold this card for PC. Yes, I will take it.
Well, there's cards, right? So this is where you draw the line. Like Brendan's Russell Wilson, I'm pointing the wrong direction. Brendan's Russell Wilson, he sold it and he's chased it back since. Yeah. Right. So that's a card he should not have sold because he regrets it to this day. And that's what I kind of told you guys, right? Like if you sell this card and you cannot get it back, will you be disappointed?
Yeah.
That's the question.
And a thing that I will say, the cards that we have been that are low pop, we've gotten over comp for. We had a Tua card the other day, PSA 1010, pop 2. We got over the last comp for it.
Yeah.
Over the last. And we sold like a Gabriel Gonzalez red. People pay anything for origins and reds and supers because they know there's probably not going to be another one that pops up.
Yeah. That's called gambling.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting though, because there's so many different elements. We could talk forever, but want to kind of wrap up just because of folks' times that are watching or whatever. But like when looking ahead, I love the fact that we brought up the reality of people not being afraid to pay over comp. And I think that's the thing that's changing in the hobby. I think you've got really smart, savvy people that are getting in and they're understanding. And you're always going to have guys that are trying to flip and buy below comp and sell. I mean, that's always going to be there. But I really think that for people who are willing to pay strong and understand the market and pop count, they're really beginning to protect assets that are just going to be, as long as the demand remains, right, they're going to be able to kind of be in charge because they have those cards. So that said, I want to kind of close with this. What are you guys kind of like most excited about in the hobby right now? And it could be a certain player, a certain card. It could be where we're going. Like what gets you jazzed up when you start like thinking about what you do every day?
I'll start first here. I think one of the coolest things that I've seen, and it's a new feature that we released on Alt, is the full transaction history.
Yes.
So if you go onto Alt now and you search cards, it'll show and it'll just have a dashed line of like relisted or like not unpaid, etc. So that way people can see, because whereas before you go look at like 130 point, for instance, and they have the comp there, but maybe it wasn't paid for. So I think with Alt, that's a step in the right direction. People can see, like, if you see 4 comps that are like unpaid, then okay, this isn't the comp. So I think the clarity, that's something I'm really excited about. It's a new feature with us. It's gotten pretty positive feedback so far. It just gives more transparency to the hobby and people more data so they can make informed decisions.
Yeah, I think that's huge.
Yeah, that is. Like, Matt, didn't he tell us there's like 40,000 unpaid transactions just in the month of January?
Let's not tell people that one. But yeah, there's a lot of unpaid transactions on the market. So you got to be careful with like how you're, how much you're trusting the last comp, right? Going back to the last comp culture. I hate it. I'm like, I believe in using the data, but I don't believe in, okay, last one did 7,000, 5 before there are 5,500. It's now a $7,000 card. Like a little iffy on that, right? So there's you got to be careful. There's a lot of bad actors.
Like there's Lazaro Montez right now. His cards have literally 3x'd in the past 3 weeks just because he's having, and that's the thing with prospects. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, okay, if he has a good week, sure, his cards might go up 10%, but with prospects, their cards can literally 3x in a week. We saw with Ellie De La Cruz, his cards literally 2x'd when he like hit for the cycle or whatever.
Yeah, legit FOMO, right? Like people get serious FOMO, like,
and then people are like, "Oh, we need an Ellie," and that's kind of what we did. Like, "Oh, we have to get an Ellie," and then we decided, you know what, this is not going to be a good idea, and its prices have actually come down to where they started at.
Right.
So Matt, going back to wrap up here, your thoughts, like, what are you excited about, man? What
am I excited about? Well, mine's more of like as a sports fan than a card fan, but it relates to the cards, right? We got baseball playoffs, right? I'm hoping Acuna gets his 2nd ring. That would be awesome. Like if he's 25 with 2 rings, like that's sweet. And then football, man, like how could you not be excited for football, right? And college football, there's this thing with all the college cards coming out. So like What if Caleb Williams goes and has a 50 touchdown, 0 interception season, right? Like, do we see the first time ever like college football cards getting pumped up? Like, that's something that's going to be interesting this fall. So I know you guys are big college football fans, so I kind of want to see how that works.
Yeah, so little shameless plug, Ham House College Game Day. It's really funny. Like this started Matthew and I on the back
Ham House
porch.
Sports literally started with Ham House College Game Day when I was
Maddie's like 7 years old. We just turned on a camera, started talking about college football. So we're going to be like full in. We do a weekly show talking about games and stuff. So we're super pumped about that.
Well, who are some guys to watch this year? We got Caleb. I know Caleb.
So Caleb Williams is going to be really good. I think that the receiver for Ohio State,
Marvin Harrison
Jr.
Yeah,
very, very good. NC State will go 12-0 this year. And
to that though, Brennan Armstrong, right, transferred from Virginia with their offensive coordinator to NC State, and he's taken over the reins at quarterback in his 5th year. So
Sam Hartman for Notre Dame is going to be really good.
That's going to be sneaky.
Quarterback?
Yeah.
Wake Forest transfer.
5th year transfer out of Wake Forest, transferred to Notre Dame.
Burrow and Sam Hartman's like the same situation, really. Is like Hartman did incredible at Wake Forest, but and he didn't start like his first 3 years at Wake Forest, but he started like the last year and had a good year, and now he's
got hurt. I think
he got hurt. He did get hurt, and now he's 5th year transferring to. And then State's going to beat him in the 2nd week of the year.
Do you guys think that if, let's say, like one of these guys goes out and has like a surprise Heisman year, his college cards will be going nuts?
I mean, it could be like a Victor Wembanyama almost, where his base Bowman Chrome U autographs are doing like 2K, which is insane to me. And that doesn't make any sense because I will say when Victor Wembanyama's cards come out, I'm honestly like scared. I'd be scared to buy any of them.
So I think for me
on
the collegiate stuff, like I think you have a very niche buyer there, right? Like I think that, the on the college market, you're going to have those fans that would like to have that guy's card in the team jersey of their, collegiate team. Right. But I think you have, a bigger following, of course, because there's just fewer teams with, professional. So I think it's not going to be a situation where it surpasses, but, definitely. You get a patch auto situation of you're an NC State guy and you get a guy, patch. So I think but I think to me, that's a cool market for like younger kids, right? Because the price point's not as high and they can own a card of a player that they're watching in college or whatever. So like it's a good introductory, product. Okay. So
that's a great point. I mean, if someone can, it's not as much at all. So it's a good entry point for like younger kids to get into it.
All right, so let me ask you guys this hypothetical. Rewind to 2013, right? Bowman Chrome cards are out from their college things, and Johnny Manziel is happening in live time while his Bowman U cards are out. What is the ROI in that season on Johnny Manziel cards in his one season? What percent does his cards go up?
From his debut at college,
week 1, let's say they came out
week 1 through the end of the year to the Heisman thing. Yeah. Man,
I'm gonna say 400%.
400x?
Yeah. No, not 400x.
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times.
4x.
No, I
was gonna say 5x.
I was gonna say 20x.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 20 or something crazy. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say he'd come out. He's like $5, and by the end of the season, his card's doing 100 or something.
Well, I guess it also depends because 2013 there probably weren't as many collectors. Now, like if it was the same Johnny Manziel and you did it in 2020. Or like 2023, I think it'd be a higher ROI.
Definitely.
Dude, I hope that becomes like an investable process because I like watching the guys in college and kind of like following them to the pros. I think it's a really fun path. But before I buy in, I'm a follower, not a leader, I guess. I want to see other people do it, so I'm not buying junky assets. So if other people start doing it, sure, I'll buy.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. We'll kind of close on this and just. The thing that I love about the hobby, no matter what age you are, no matter how much money you have, you can get in. And that's the thing that's beautiful to me is because you got kids at shows trading $1, $2 cards.
I will say this. I did a bunch of cards last year when I started, and now I'm in middle school, so I go to a different school than all these kids. When I was in elementary school with these kids, and they would talk to me about it, I still see these kids driving up to Raleigh for the card shows because they watch my videos, and I would post on Instagram or something, going to the Raleigh card show tomorrow. And they say, hey, I saw your post. I came here to the Raleigh card show. They're driving 3 hours just to come to card shows. And I love that about about that.
And it's funny, like I'll never forget this. Like this is the boys. This is Ham House like origin story, right? Like
Pokemon.
we had a box of just base tops, whatever we had ripped it at Christmas or something like that.
No, it was you gave us the Gavin Lux base top rookie.
Yeah. So bros took this card to school, right?
And a PSA 8.
Yeah, and they were trading it for like Pokemon cards, and these kids were like 5th, 6th grade, right? They didn't know anything.
No, they were like 4th.
Well, they didn't want their Pokemon
3rd.
cards anymore. They wanted a slab, right? Or they wanted baseball cards. So the twins and Matthew, they were like swapping out baseball cards for Pokemon, and we didn't know anything about Pokemon. But I threw like Pokemon lot on Facebook Marketplace, and dude, I sold like 2 or 3 lots for like 150, like $200. And it's like people go, "How did you guys get started?" I was like, we were literally trading baseball base for Pokemon cards that we sold in bulk on Facebook Marketplace.
So if we looked at it like an NFL trade tree, right? You guys turned a free Gavin Lux Topps paper into a Ronald Acuna blue refractor autograph, right? So that's the trade tree.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we did.
That's pretty dang good.
And we traded some kayaks into a Trey Turner orange.
Yeah, man, it's been a ton of fun. But, as we wrap up, man, just, Matt Levine especially, dude, thank you so much. You've been such an encouragement to the boys and to me just in the hobby. And Brendan, I know we're just getting to kind of know you, but, we love Alt and we love what you guys do. I know everybody got flack going in every direction for every business and every company, but I love what you guys do. And I think that there's great value in having an app that provides the kind of access that you guys do to data. And then also allows the resources for collectors to leverage their collection into y'all's vaults and into y'all's, marketing and liquid auctions or whatever. So just we're a champion for what you guys are doing, and just say keep doing it, man, and keep innovating with the hobby and just press on forward.
Thanks, guys. Definitely means a lot. I mean, I think I can probably speak on Matt's behalf here too. Like, we've been here for almost a couple of years now, and like we've seen the strides that we've been making, and it's like, it's really cool to hear like other people acknowledge that we're like going in the right direction. Like all the hard work that we've been doing, like it's paying off, and
it really is. Like I go to shows, and every single person's using Alt now. Like when they're trying to comp a card, everybody's using Alt. Alt's booth at Nationals, easily one of the busiest booths there. It was amazing.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Well, listen, that's it. What a great interview. Didn't anticipate to go this long. We'll probably break it up into a few. So thank you guys a ton. Really appreciate y'all. Be well. You want to sign us off?
Yeah, absolutely. Wait, before you sign us off, if you ever do some of those college game days or even NFL ones, I'd love to join. I mean, I know Matt probably would too. Football is my main sport. I worked in the NFL for a while.
You know what? We probably should introduce some kind of guest picking situation. We'll like bring you in for guest picks. That's one of the things Matthew and I've been talking about. Like, this is no joke. The first year we did Ham House College Game Day, my man was like 40-3 going into like week 4.
ATS or straight up?
Was it against the spread or was it straight? I can't remember.
I think it was. I think
it was straight up, but I mean, against the spread, I'm not kidding you. Like the track record's like.
But like I remember there was a week, and it was like Utah, the number 6 team in the country, was playing like an unranked Florida, and I said Florida's about to blow them out of the water, chomp, and literally Florida beat them 40-8, or like 47. It was the craziest thing.
So we're gonna start selling Little Matt's betting lines on.
You can get yourself a second Acuna card.
Man, I thought you were like a junior Josh Roth. Now I think you're like a junior Lee Corso, bro.
That's right.
Yeah.
Little Lee over here. Little Lee.
Well, thank you guys for the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, guys.
I'll look forward to the next pickup you guys have.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys in touch. But listen, guys, peace. Thanks so much.
Peace.
Later, guys.